I'm
What is good people? You are now listening to another episode of At the Plate with Danny Foxworth. I am your humble narrator, Danny Foxworth, and this is a special episode, being that it's the MLB postseason. I brought friend of the show back, Sed Warren. Sed, what's good, bro?
what's going on, man? Appreciate you having me back.
Absolutely, man. We're going to talk some the MLB playoff picture. So we're going to get right into it. Looking at the postseason picture bracket, we'll start on the American League side. Well, I mean, there's really no need to really get in depth about the wild card scenarios because those are done deals on both sides of the AL.
Yeah.
So the Twins finish off the Blue Jays after having an 18 game postseason losing streak, and I
Yeah,
tell you that's a good way to bounce back. That's for sure.
it is.
Yeah. So they move on to the ALDS where they will be facing the Houston Astros. So we'll get into that series. Man,
Yeah.
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, not to belabor the initial wild card round, but I'm excited to see looking at the playoff picture across the board. I'm excited to see new teams in the postseason,
Me
right?
too.
I'm excited to see the Twins because they've been on the doorstep like for the last couple years, and they've had good seasons, good starts, and then you know, summertime they just fall apart, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like the summertime from June to August is where you have to you got to hit a stride in there to be ready for postseason play. Those 3 months are so critical because it's out of the opening kind of month jitters, you know what I'm saying? Whatever is happening, like you're in full rotation, full swing by June, July, and August, right? Pitchers have gone through at least two or three rotations by this point. You've either called people up, sent people down, like you've got your squad ready. And that's when you really got to start to either make headway or get to a point where once the all-star break comes, you're in a position to make a run for it, right? And I'll go
Yes.
back to 2021 with Atlanta, right? Same thing if we're jumping on the NL side real quick, but Atlanta got to August and just shot through the roof, right? At the right time, plus
Yep.
free agency. The Rangers, I'm excited to see this. I have several friends from Texas who are also Rangers fans, and again, new blood into the postseason, man. And again, another team that's been you saw the additions and you were like, oh, this is gonna be the squad. But those additions didn't always pan out, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
we some injuries. Um, so now it's to see them in it is great. And it's even crazier because of how hot the Rays started, right?
Yeah.
And I was amazing Rays right back at it. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? That's wild because that's a low market team. Like the Rays don't spend a bunch of money, but they win.
That farm system.
They win. Yes. That farm system is amazing and they win. And you know who has another good farm system, but it's wild that they just can't put it together is Oakland.
Yeah.
Oakland for a long time has had a good farm system, but they cannot put it all the way together. And we've seen what's happening with them and moving the team. I think as an organization, they're just like they got to start it. They got to start over.
Yeah.
So, and then with the Orioles, again, exciting team. They were another team last year. I think 80 or 90 wins, something like that. Just missed the postseason, and then now the 100-win team. When 2 years ago they lost like 100+ games. So
Yeah.
young talent, good leadership, and just again making moves to put it together. I think that's what it takes is the talent, the young talent with a good veteran talent, and then obviously good coaching. So
Exactly. So we're gonna start with the ALDS. Well, actually, we'll move down to the other wild card with my beloved Rangers. Let me pop my shit for a little bit
yeah,
because I
absolutely.
because I saw a lot of these MLB previews and they all pretty much all of them picked the Rays to win. And then I went back to thinking when we went on our World Series run in 2010 and 2011 and we faced them in the ALDS. And honestly, I wish we could play all of our postseason games at Tropicana Field because postseason we're 7-0 in Tropicana Field. And Yeah, Jordan Montgomery, he really held it down game one. I was surprised. And then Nathan Eovaldi, man, I hate to say that he's back, but he was out almost 2 months with that forearm strain, and he had a rough go,
Yeah.
just trying to get his footing. But he found his groove today, man. They went
Yeah.
above and
Yeah.
beyond.
It's been a rough season for pitchers.
Yeah,
It's been a rough season for pitchers. I think every season you see a few, like one or two, right? But I feel like these were long term, right? Obviously, the Angels didn't make the postseason, but I mean, Shohei Ohtani had an elbow issue, right? And then
yeah,
Verlander. Who else didn't come back? I think Syndergaard had some issues. Scherzer's had some issues. Like,
yeah,
these guys that are exciting and really making the teams exciting. Um, again, injury issues were big.
yeah.
So,
And DeGrom, case in point. I didn't realize this was the
yep,
second time having to get Tommy John surgery.
that's rough.
Yeah, at age
He's got
35, man.
he's got a fake elbow
Woo.
at this point.
Yeah, he got a cyborg elbow.
Yeah, he's got a fake elbow. He should be like what's that movie? Is that Little Big League where he like injures his elbow? Is that the right one?
It was, I
He
think it was Rookie of the Year
Rookie of the Year. There
when
you
he pitched
go.
for the Cubs.
Yeah,
Yep,
there you go. I watched Angels in the Outfield last night.
man. Let's see. That's a
It's on it's on MLB Network. If you have MLB Network, you can stream it on demand because it doesn't stream anywhere else. And because
okay.
my fiance and I have been looking for it, and I'm just like, why is this movie not anywhere? But we watched it last night, and it was just as funny. But it's still a great movie.
It is.
So
I agree.
yeah.
So we're gonna get into the ALDS picture. So Minnesota Twins and Houston Astros. What are your takeaways from that series?
So I think this is going to be a tight one, right? You got Correa going back to his old team, right? This is headline stuff there. I'd like Minnesota to win. Um, I think it's gonna be a close one. I don't imagine blowouts in this postseason. I think a lot of these teams across the board are scrappy. Um, and even the 100-win teams can have a streak where they really kind of falter, and it's about momentum.
Yeah,
And I think the Twins have good momentum, even just battling to get to the postseason. You know what I'm saying? I in the in the division, I think that's going to keep carrying them too as well. Houston is always tough. They've been a postseason uh consistent postseason team for the last like what 4 years now, 4 or 5
yeah,
years or something like that. Even among the whole cheating scandal, um, they've been there, and then they bounced back and won again, then got back against Atlanta. So I mean they're there, so they know how to play, what to do. Those guys on that team know about moments, and in baseball, I will always say it's about moments. Again, like we were talking before we started the recording, right? The Blue Jays had bases loaded in the sixth, had a chance to really tie the game up, blow the game open, whatever. But guy grounded into a double play. They couldn't get nothing else the rest of the way. That's one moment, right?
yeah,
That could have kept their opportunities alive. So I think it's going to be tough because again, I used to be a person who didn't believe in that whole, oh, they've been here, the experience. But the more and more I've seen it, the more I recognize that, yeah, that plays a big role because mentally, I don't have to do too much in this moment. I just need a base hit, right? We
yeah,
got 2 outs. We need a little 2-out thunder, right? We need to just get a base knock here, still a base here. You know what I'm saying? Like we need to manufacture runs. And I'm a huge, like in those situations, small ball person, right? Like if you can hit a home run, great. But don't go up there trying to hit a home run because you're gonna fly out or strike out. And then
yeah.
again, moments. So I think it's going to be close. I do like the Twins to take that one. Remind me, ALDS is 5 game series, or they had 7 again?
5.
5. Okay, there we go. So I will go Twins for that one. Yeah, I'll go Twins for that one. Um, I'm not sure what I think about like the games on that one. It's tough. But I do think the Twins will take it. So
Okay.
uh,
That's I like that pick. I like that pick.
yeah,
That's gutsy right there.
yeah,
So
I do think the Twins will take it.
so we'll move down to the bottom of the ALDS bracket. We got the Rangers and the O's.
Yeah,
Man, that's one I'm really looking forward to because
exciting. I think
yes,
this might be one of the best series of the postseason. And I may like again, I've been at work. I turned the games on at work on my tablet. So I've been watching throughout the day. And this kind of has the energy of I remember the 2016 World Series when the Cubs eventually won. And like every series was just exciting, right? I
yes,
mean, each one had just outstanding games. This one is tough, right? The O's are just exciting, right? They're exciting. They're young. They got Adley Rushman,
mm-hmm.
um, up there.
Gunnar Henderson.
They're like they they got a squad, right? And then again, it's wild because they went from like I want to say like 89 wins or something like that last year to like well over 100 this year, right? So 100 plus. And that's a big leap, right? That's like three different series, right? Or that's like taking a month, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Of like, really running a series, a couple series in a couple weeks in a month. So I do think they're really exciting. But again, this year just has the make of the teams who have been there aren't necessarily gonna like just dominate. I'll say that. They may win, but they may not dominate. Um Pitching, I think, is coming along in favor of Texas as well. Again, like we talked about, Uvalde really stepped up. I think those big moments coming back are going to be huge for that one. So I will go. That's tough, but I like Texas, so I'm gonna go with the Rangers. I'm gonna go with the Rangers on this one. Um, I think something's good. I don't know what, but I feel like something's going to trip up Baltimore at this point in time. But I'm gonna go with the Rangers on this one. So Rangers and Twins for the ALCS.
yes, I like that. Good job, Bruce
Yeah,
Bochy. Then we're gonna move on to the NL side of the bracket. So we'll start with the wild card, the D-backs and the Brewers.
yeah,
Man, I think they're currently playing right now.
yeah.
Brewers
Uh,
are up 2-0 in the second.
okay.
So I think D-backs have a 1-0 series lead right now.
Yep.
You have any thoughts about that series?
So Arizona was another team that started hot, right? And I was like, are they going to be for real out here in the NL West? Like, is this going to be a switch up? Are the Dodgers going to be like number two? Um, Young talent, young team um, on that team. That's why they essentially fell to the sixth seed. It was hard to maintain that momentum. They're aggressive on the base path, and that is what helped them win that game yesterday, and also timely hitting. So, uh, Milwaukee had an opportunity to uh, close it out, or had an opportunity to keep the lead close, where they would only be down, I think, one run. And uh, the closer who came in essentially walked a guy and then another base hit. So it was
Mm.
two on. Again, aggressive on the base pass, advance the runners. Next guy gets up, smacks one to the gap, 2 runs scores. Now it's like 4-2, I think was the score, right? Clutch hitting and adding runs so that it makes it more difficult, right? Because one run, swing at a bat, boom, right? But now with 2 runs, it's not impossible, but now somebody has to get on base, right?
Yep.
Somebody's got to draw a walk, get a base hit, and then you got to manufacture that guy over, right? And depending on where you are in the lineup, that's easier said than done. If you're at the top, to the middle, you're a little more confident. The bottom guys aren't bad, but also you know that they're not necessarily your guys who are gonna be the ones to get the big hits all the time, right?
Yep.
Now, if you're starting at the bottom, say 8-9-1, it's a little more favorable, right? Maybe your 8 guy gets out, 9 might draw a walk or something like that, or vice versa. Now your 1's up, and then you're a little more confident in kind of drawing those runs. But Milwaukee, I've seen them play live. I saw them play this season. I went to Milwaukee. Saw them play their division counterpart, the Cincinnati Reds, and that was the game that Ellie stole second, third, and home, which was absolutely wild. So they have good defensive talent. Their catcher, Wilson Contreras, used to play for Atlanta, and I saw what he can do there. So that's a bright spot as well. Obviously, Christian Yelich, right? That's the guy you want, in clutch situations. So this one, I think Minnesota is going to take it tonight, and I like them to come out of that series. I think Arizona will just fall just short for that one.
All right, and then we'll get to the bottom of the wild card. You have the Phillies and the Marlins. Phillies have a 1-0 lead.
I don't like either of these teams as a Braves fan.
Duly noted.
And more so because I watched some of the final series versus both of these teams, and Atlanta did not do well, right? Phillies are a thorn in the side after last year when they won, and I just can't forget this, 87 games, right?
Yep.
87 games and got to the World Series, right?
Yep.
The Marlins, again, so Philly has the experience, right? You got Bryce Harper there. You got they padded their team with some veterans, but also some young talents there too as well.
Yeah.
Miami is young, right? And shout out to Miami because they are the first team with a female general manager to make the postseason. Shout out
Kim Ng.
Yeah. Doing her thing there. So for that reason, I would very much like to see them advance, and I think they can. But it's going to be tough, right? Philly again has that veteran presence. Guys like Arez in Miami, obviously Jazz Chisholm. Those guys are exciting, but again, a younger squad. I think they have to figure out how to turn it on consistently to get past Philly, right? And Philly, again, moments, they've been here. They know how to win. You got somebody like Bryce Harper who, whether you need a base hit or a home run, he can do it. Yeah. So just get the bat in his hands and, let him work. But I like the Phillies to move on to face my Braves. And then, like I said, Milwaukee will go on to face the Dodgers in the NLDS.
And I got to say, speaking of the Phillies, one of my newly listed sports bucket list items is I want to catch a Phillies playoff game because it looks it looks like an experience, Jack.
It looks lit.
Yeah.
Philly, Philly just sports fans in general are just like crazy.
We have very rabid fan base.
Yeah. I mean, I would not go see Eagles Cowboys game unless I was with Eagles fans that I was cool with. Like I wouldn't just go, right? I go to the Giants. I've been to Washington. I did that 2021, December 2021. I went to the Washington Cowboys game. It was cool. I was around some great fans. It was a lot of good banter back and forth. Nobody was, trying to fight or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? So like that was cool. I feel like New York fans would be the same. You know what I'm saying? I think there's a small portion of Giants fans who might be like that, but overall, I just don't see them being that way. But Philly, Philly ratchet. I would have to go with Philly fans and be in the middle of them. And then like if I'm going somewhere, like I'm bringing one of them with me. Or I'm just not going. Like I'll wait.
You basically
till we get to the back. Yeah,
Yeah, you a chum bucket getting thrown into the shark water at that point.
absolutely, absolutely. Like I'm not going to drink heavily or nothing because I ain't trying to go to the bathroom by myself. Or if they going to get snacks, I'm gonna tell you what you I like. Here, take my card. I'll pay for it. You know what I mean? And then somebody stay. But yeah, Philly does look lit. I'm excited to go on to some more East Coast teams next season. Catch those stadiums.
Yeah, I'm saying the same thing, but I think I'm gonna do West Coast next year. So we're gonna move
2025 for that for me.
word. So we're gonna move back to the American League. So ALCS, we have the Twins and the Rangers. Man,
Yeah.
I didn't think the Rangers would make it this far, but here we are. So
Yeah.
yeah. So what do you have any thoughts about this series?
Uh again, so two teams who I don't know when the last time the Twins been to the ALCS. Like
It's been a minute.
it's probably been a couple decades now. Now, like maybe Kirby Puckett time or whatever.
Yeah.
And I've low key always had liked the Twins. I mean, like Torrey Hunter was there for a long time, one of my favorite players, and I was always rooting for him and them at the same time. I feel like they got to the postseason at some point in his time in Minnesota, and then definitely while he was with Detroit because that was like him, Verlander, like they had a squad. I think that was
Yeah,
like
they did.
2006, 2007 time. And the Rangers, we know we've been there, like you said, 2010, 2011, and stuff like that. So it's been a long time coming for them. So I think um, either team is really good, has got a lot to prove, especially getting past, if they can get past the top two seeds in the AL, right? Getting to the ALCS, like they're going to be proving that like we're the new kind of consistent crop of this division. Because right now, out of the teams in the AL playoff race, like Houston and Tampa Bay are the consistent ones, right?
Yeah.
Toronto is, has kind of been in that wild card spot, maybe, with Boston and New York kind of being, floating around there. But both of those teams are atrocious right now. So
Yeah.
that's
That's odd seeing them that bad.
it is. It's been like, I don't know. I think they said it's been like a century since neither Boston or New York has been in the postseason. Like
That's wild.
it's wild. Yeah, absolutely. So obviously 7 games for this one. I really don't know, to be honest with you. I really don't. That's exciting for me because I don't know who's gonna emerge out of those two should they make it. Again, they're gonna be fighting to be like, we're the new team of the AL, right? And again, I think uh I give like it's gonna everything comes down to pitching to me, right? Pitching and can you hit situationally? Um, because even one of your best pitchers might not have the best outing in the postseason. So for me, I think the winner will have to be able to deliver consistently on pitching. And even if the pitcher's giving up runs, he's got to be able to limit damage so that it doesn't get out of hand, right?
Yeah.
And your offense has to be able to come through. So if Uvalde's on the mound, if somebody else for Texas or the Twins are on the mound and they're giving up runs, but the offense is scoring, right? So say it's like 4-4 going into the 6th, and you still got your starters out there, like that's okay, right? Because I know my offense can come through. So if I give up one more in the 6th, my guy might not be able to. My coach may not pull me right away, right? Because I know the offense can get it right back. So, clutch hitting and consistent pitching that doesn't get out of hand is going to be the key for that series.
And my biggest concern, especially with Texas, and there's been the biggest Achilles heel all season, has been their bullpen. They're consistently inconsistent. They've held their own these last couple games, think because the starters have gone, at least 6 or 7 innings. But they're between August, that stretch from August to September, I've lost count of how many saves they've blown. during that stretch when they lost. I think they lost 16 of 20 games, and it was just the bullpen always they try to put the
And
fire out. They put the
that's
fire out
rough on
with
the
gasoline.
starters, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's rough on the starters because it's like I've just thrown 6 or 7 solid innings, gave up 2. You know what I'm saying? It's 2-2, 3-2, 2-1. Even if I'm down, we're down, right? 2-0. That's still a very doable opportunity after 6, 7 innings, right? And
Yeah,
or again, we're up 3-0. 3-0 is a solid lead, right? Like it's not, outlandish, right? Where you're like 10 runs up and then like one swing of the bat can't do it. But also like it's enough to be able to uh sustain a lead and sustain a win. And so that's rough on your starters mentally, but also physically too. For the bullpen not to be able to come through. So yeah, like I said, clutch pitching for either one of those will have to get them through the ALDS and the ALCS. So it may be a tale of the bullpens for both of those teams.
yeah. And if that's the case, I'd probably have to go with the Twins, to be honest. Whew.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might have to go with the Twins, and I'll
Yeah.
say Twins in 7.
Yeah, all these are going to be deep series. ALDS, ALCS, like all those are going to be deeps. I feel like they're going to push it to the brink, right? Like 3-2 for both of those. We're going to see in somebody may start up 2-0 and then there's going to be a 2-1, 2-2, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
All right, so we're gonna move. So the Twins advance to the World Series. Who saw that coming? So we're
Yeah.
gonna so we're gonna move back over to the National League bracket. So the NLDS, we have the Brewers and the Dodgers. Man, so what say you?
um Give me LA. I Mookie
Yeah,
Betts, Clayton Kershaw. Like
yeah.
those
Brett,
two people alone, just they are. I mean, Mookie was having a Mookie's having an MVP season. He won't win it because of Ronald Acuna,
yeah,
but having a I don't know what to call it, right? Um, but it is it is unreal what Mookie is doing. I mean, just all around solid player. But
yeah,
again, LA's been here, right? Won the World Series. They've been here. A lot of the team is the same, as well, and the experience is there, uh, especially for the head coach, right? Um, Dave has been here, knows how to scheme it. Clayton Kershaw finally got over that hump of not being able to produce in the postseason,
yep,
right? And now he's ready. So I think their lineup pitching wise is going to carry them against a team like Milwaukee, right?
yeah,
Who's not as deep in the starting rotation, as good as their starting rotation. So I think Dodgers will take that one. Um, I don't know if it'll be a sweep for them, but it'll definitely be a dominate like 4-1 for that one. Like I'll give Milwaukee one game, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
probably 4-1 for that one.
And I completely forgot about Freddie Freeman. I mean, even at his age, he's still getting the job done, bro. It's wild to see that, man.
Yeah. Like their team is just like stacked. They like Muncy, JD Martinez. I forgot about this. I didn't even know that Jason Hayward was still playing, but he's in LA.
He,
He's playing.
I
He's
thought he
playing
was,
right field.
I thought he was still with the Cubs.
Nah,
Wow.
he. I think he got with LA. I feel like I remember him with LA last year, but I don't know if he stayed on or whatever. But yeah, like he's there. Max Muncy, Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts. So even just like defensively, right? Hayward can still play the outfield, right?
Mm-hmm.
His hitting took a dip, which is why he kind of bounced for a second after he left Atlanta. Betts, you can literally stake him anywhere. Dude's just an athlete, right? Can play the outfield, can play the infield, right? So that's like they can move him around in that space, right?
Yep.
Defensively. So yeah, LA I think just has just too much talent essentially to really has too much talent for Milwaukee to compete. I'll say that.
All right. So Dodgers move on to the NLCS. Now, in the bottom of the NLDS bracket, we have, man, Braves and Phillies once again. How you feeling about that one?
So there, part of me is super confident that we're gonna wax the Phillies, right? Because we got bats out this world, right? Um, a lot of, and speaking of the Dodgers and Freddie Freeman, right? We got Matt Olson from Oakland after Freddie Freeman went to the Dodgers. And I know a lot of people, Braves fans wise, were really disappointed that we didn't re-sign Freddie. And honestly, I was excited to see Freddie get a World Series ring, but also loyalty will kill your team.
True. Yeah. Good
It
point.
will kill your team, right? Matt Olson is younger and has proven that he can be a fill-in defensively and offensively. Because offensively, he went off.
Yes.
50 plus home runs. Like Freddie
100,
didn't even,
130 something RBIs.
yeah, like Freddie didn't even do that, right? Again, Freddie was clutch, great hitter. To be that big and long, had an amazing twitch to be able to hit the inside pitches, right? To turn on an inside fastball and stuff like that was really great. Matt Olson can just put it out there. He looks like he's very lean, you know what I mean, but strong and just puts it out there. So I mean, he's been a great replacement. So the bats alone say that we will not have a problem with the Phillies, but it's the Phillies and it's a division rival, and that will always be the case where they're gonna, give you some trouble. But I do think the Braves will take it without too much problems. It could be like three. Yeah, yeah, 5-game series for them. Yeah, it could be like three. Yeah, it could be a
3-2.
sweep. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, something like that. Yeah,
Okay.
something like it could be a sweep, but it could go the way too. I don't know. It's one of those things where, um, like Philly could really just find a way to turn it on right at the right time.
Yeah.
Because again, down the stretch, I was watching, we were not winning like I wanted us to. Because again, postseason momentum is important. So winning going through September and into October is important. And we weren't necessarily doing that because we had already wrapped up the division. So it's kind of like same thing in other sports, like when football, right? If you wrap up the division by week 14 or 15, 16, 17, and now 18 don't really mean much, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're fighting for like a number one seed spot, right? So you're resting starters, you're keeping them for the long haul. And we weren't necessarily doing that, but we weren't necessarily playing like we were before. So I think it's important for us to to find the momentum early, get the bats going early, and just don't even give them a chance to be in it. Like just get it going real quick.
Word. So they beat the Phillies in NLDS, and honestly, this NLCS matchup is probably my most anticipated series matchup in the entire playoff series. Dodgers and Braves.
Yeah,
That's going to be a slugfest, and I'm here for it.
yeah. It's gonna be like 2020 was when Atlanta got up to that 3-0 lead and then let them crawl right back, right? Um Pitching depth, both sides, right? Uh everybody's got a star. They got Kershaw, we got Spencer Strider. Strider has been amazing. Bats defensively, again, Acuna, Mookie Betts. Like you could go. It's almost like a freestyle battle, right? Bar for bar with
Yeah.
these two. You know what I mean? Like it's really just on like who had the right bars today to be, the winner. So I don't really know. Like it's not a for sure. I'll say that even as confident I am with the Braves, it's not a for sure. I will say the Braves will win. That's definitely going to 7-game series, for sure. 4-3 in favor of the Braves, but I think we'll get back to the World Series. It's not going to be an easy road in that NLDS space, or NLCS. But yeah, but I think what that will prepare us will be for once we get to the World Series. Should the Twins, Rangers, Orioles, whoever make it, I don't think they have the experience to beat out the top NL teams.
Well said. So you pretty much answered the next question.
Yeah.
This is going to be a rematch of, I think it was 91, Braves and Twins. Who'd have thunk it? And you had the Braves emerging as the victors in 2023 World Series champions. So you have any thing to say about that series?
So Braves and Twins, I think, would be super nostalgic for Major League Baseball. They would love to do all the flashbacks of that series and everything else. Um, I think um, I think outside of nostalgia, I don't think it would be too much of a competition. Again, 7-game series. I don't think it's a sweep. You know what I'm saying? Um, I'd say, you know, 4-1, something like that.
I was thinking the same
Um,
thing.
in that case, again, I don't think the AL has the talent to compete with the NL teams this year. And the top two teams in the NL are really good. So
Yeah.
for me, it's either the Dodgers or the Braves get to the World Series. And that's that. You know what I mean? And if either one of those teams get there, they're gonna win the World Series. So that's that's my piece. But it's exciting again on the AL side to not always see Boston, New York, you know what I'm saying, come through. I was low key rooting for Seattle to get there. Something about that just feels good to see Seattle doing better. I want to see the Mariners get back. It would have been really great since they hosted the All-Star game this year. Um, but yeah, and I think too, like, Seattle gets back, like we're gonna see Griffey come out and really be excited and everything else. He may drop like a really dope shoe too,
Yeah,
if they make
let's
it back
hope.
to. Yeah, because I would definitely get it.
Me too.
I wore my Griffies to work today, so
Tight.
uh, yeah, I think either way, it's the NL champion for the World Series this year, Braves or Dodgers. But the AL is going to be an exciting race. I think the NL will be kind of standard, you know what I mean? But the AL is going to provide the excitement this year. So kudos to the young teams, the newer teams, like getting into the mix this year.
Yeah, love seeing that fresh blood in the postseason. So the Atlanta Braves emerge as the at the plate 2023 World Series champions. Man, yeah, it was great to have you on to provide that analysis. Any last words?
No, man, I appreciate you having me back. I hope we can keep talking, and let's jump back in February for like a 2024 season preview
I like
and
that
make some
idea.
predictions. And then, let's keep it rolling too. I love baseball. I love talking about baseball. And you and I have shared the sentiment too, man. Like it's great to know Black people who are interested in baseball too as well. So real fans. So appreciate you having me on. And good luck to the Rangers, man, the rest of the way. And we'll see what they do.
And good luck to your Braves. And thank you for being on. And absolutely, we will link back up in February to get this thing started back up again for the 2024
Sure.
season. Make sure absolutely. Thank you. And make sure you like, download, and subscribe to At the Plate with Danny Foxworth. You can find my YouTube channel at Danny Foxworth 843, where you can find all of the video versions of my podcast, both At the Plate and Since We Last Spoke. And for Cedric and myself, this has been another episode of At the Plate. And until next time, y'all be good. 3 strikes.